Afternoon everyone. So I'll be presenting to you this video that talks about sole proprietorship. So sole proprietorship is the simplest and most common way of making a business. So in sole proprietorship, it is only operated by a single individual. They are referred to as the owner, with contrast and unlike the other kinds of business where it involves corporation. um, there are multiple owners joining together to establish their united business, and there's also partnership where it's just one pairs of business owners that have a similar goal, and this is where they will work together to contribute to the public. So sole proprietorship it just refers to a single owner that's entitled to control every resources, his strategy about handling his business, and also is also responsible for handling the debts, the loans, the losses, and also the profits when making his business. When it comes to forming a sole proprietorship, there's no formal action required, unlike the other kinds of businesses, because in being a sole proprietorship, meaning that you yourself is already the task in being the owner. You're already responsible to any kind of ways of business you're going to conduct, but that doesn't mean that you're allowed to immediately establish your business without taking some business licenses and permits as a form for the government to be able to observe the business you're handling. And also this prevents the government for seeing your businesses as illegal. So this is why business permits are really important in being a sole proprietorship. And also you're also allowed to operate under a different name if you're let's just say you're making a franchise. So that's how you make a sole proprietorship. Being a sole proprietor, you're responsible for also this is connected to where you're taking the business permits, because you want to make your business publicly known to the community. So in taking a sole proprietorship kind of business also means that you'll be involved in tax payments, because in being a sole proprietor, you have a responsibility and the necessary objectives to be able to meet up, such as handling your resources, the funds, and also on the products you're meant to sell, and you're also needing the assistance on how are you going to do the marketing of your business. So this is why taxes will be involved, because just because you're going to sell a product doesn't mean you yourself will take some cost in order to achieve it, and also you can finally begin your business to the public. So here are the advantages and disadvantages of sole proprietorship. So let's start with the advantages. There are lots of advantages when it comes to sole proprietorship, but I'm just gonna be using or giving the three most common examples of advantages that in being a sole proprietor. So number one, it's easy and really inexpensive, because you are already legally free to be able to plan what kind of business you're going to make and serve to the community. So this means that you have all the space that you'll be able to start planning and establishing your resources and building up manpower, because in being the owner you also need some assistance for shipping your business. So number two is complete control, which means in being the sole proprietor, which means you're the sole owner, you're not under the supervisionary or the under watch by another fellow entrepreneur, because you are the owner. So which means you make the rules, and also just because you make the rules doesn't mean you really disregard your own rules, so you will also follow your own rules. So in being a proper and professional sole proprietor, which means that you have always necessary to make the decisions, which is the decisions will be made, will be your call, and it will affect the growth of your company. It depends also on how good you are in making your decisions. And number 3 is the simplified tax. So preparation, so it's not taxed separately because you are the owner, so meaning that all the taxes, the costs, the incomes will be directly given to you. So you'll be already aware of how much you're going to spend, and also to replenish your financial assistance, and also your company's resources whenever you expect, given some risk or losses during your operation of the business. So here are the disadvantages in being a sole proprietor. So number 1, start with unlimited personal liability. So because of its being a sole proprietor, which means that you will lack any kind of assistance or aid from anyone, because you are the sole owner, which means everyone must be under your command. So it's like a situation where the owner will be constantly looking for stable financial income in order for him to continuously make more products and also ship them outside when it comes to the marketing process. But he himself can do this alone. So this is where especially when he might be running out of money, so he might need investors to will be able to provide an assistance for him. But it will be hard because the investors are really picky in choosing the kinds of business they want to invest in, especially in a sole proprietorship scenario. If the leader is incapable enough of being resilient in his duties, so this means the investor will not be able to find this owner capable or even worthy of being to invest at in comes to making his business. So number 2 is hard to raise money, because it's just like connected for the unlimited personal liability, because being the owner means he's liable for everything, the resources, the incomes, the taxes, or also the manpower that you always need to make sure they're all taken care of. So in hard to raise money, depending on the kind of business the owner is doing, if the business is high, so which means there are bigger chances for him to be still capable of running his business. But if not, if the income is really low, which means this is difficult for him to manage his business, because he might start running out of resources and financial assistance. So this leads also to the last part, which is number 3, heavy burden. This covers the overall problems in being a sole proprietor, because being a sole owner does give you the chances of the freedom of being to manage everything and plan everything. Everything has to operate under your rules, but at the cost as well that when it comes to needing help or aid in making sure that your business still goes running smoothly, because problems are always going to happen, and in being a owner you must be capable enough of being aware in these kinds of scenarios. So this is why being a sole proprietor is really a pressure, and this leads to some examples of owners out there who will immediately bankrupt their own business or just close their business, because they realize that how hard it is to manage the business all by themselves. So in turn they want to start over again in taking partnerships or corporations. So that is all for this video, guys. I hope you enjoy watching this, and thank you and goodbye.